Both vehicles are still on scene, and we have actually an accident reconstructionist there on scene right now doing a recreation of the crash, doing measurements.
On today's UI7 Newsbreak, a fatal car accident occurred last night, taking the lives of 2 local residents.
Plus, find out how you can keep your belongings safe from campus thefts during winter break.
Then discover more on how one music community is growing in size with a push of a button.
Your UI7 Newsbreak starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, this is your UI7 Newsbreak.
Hello, and welcome to UI7 Newsbreak. I'm Nico Burton.
And I'm Luke Shikoda.
For our top story today, a fatal car accident occurred last night in Tolono, resulting in the death of 2 Champaign County residents.
UI7's Walker Post was at the scene and has more on the 2-car crash.
Tragedy struck Tolono last night around 6 o'clock. 57-year-old Ricky Vaudry and 53-year-old Scott Quattrone were victims of a head-on collision. Both victims were wearing seatbelts and airbags were deployed. I'm here at the scene of a fatal car accident on US Route 45. A driver heading south veered into the northbound lane of traffic, crashing into a vehicle. The driver heading north was pronounced dead at the scene, while the driver heading south was airlifted to a local hospital. The airlifted driver was later pronounced dead at 9:27 p.m. last night. The crash is still under investigation, and the autopsy has yet to be released. The incident occurred between the 500 and 600 block of US Route 45, about 5 minutes south of Willard Airport. The lanes were closed while the debris was cleared. State Trooper Tracy Lillard sees crashes like these happen far too often.
We would sort of remind people to use caution, don't pass if you don't have to, and make sure you have your seatbelt on.
In Tolono, I'm Walker Post, UI7 Newsbreak.
In campus news, it's been 3 days since the construction of Dakota Access Pipeline came to a halt. Protesters on the Illinois campus celebrated this victory, but understand this fight is not over. The pipeline was planned to be constructed near the Missouri River, which many thought could contaminate sources of drinking water for the members of the Sioux tribe in the area. Thousands of protesters were able to halt the construction. Activists here on campus gathered to enjoy the news, but know that there is a long way to go for permanent change.
And yesterday's ruling was a win. If we're talking, it's a net win, but it's important to realize that this is essentially kicking the can down the road.
The Army Corps of Engineers is currently investigating alternate routes for the pipeline, but this does not mean that the original plan is no longer an option and may still be used going forward.
While there were protesters here on the U of I campus, one Illinois student took it upon herself to join fellow protesters on the front lines. People from around the country gathered in North Dakota by the thousands to put an end to the Dakota Access Pipeline. Alex Kuprianchu, a senior at UIUC, spent a couple of days in North Dakota experiencing the scene firsthand.
It was very different from how I expected it to be. It was a little bit scary just because, there's a lot of police there, and we're on the phone trying to contact people on site as to how to get in because some of the entrances are blocked off. People are being pulled over. I know, as of most recently, people are being pulled over and arrested for carrying supplies, and we had tanks of propane and all kinds of things that we were bringing to camp, so it was a little bit scary.
The leaders of the Sioux tribe are now asking protesters to return home as winter intensifies.
As students rallied on the quad towards progress in North Dakota, another battle was happening inside the Illinois Student Senate regarding their 2017 budget. The Illinois Student Senate is in the recovery process after their recent financial trouble this semester. President Ron Lewis conducted a Senate meeting discussing what the Senate should do next to fix the budget. Members of the Senate voted on different options on ways to save and potentially gain revenue for next semester. The Senate has allocated 2/3, approximately $25,000, of its $39,000 allocation from the Chancellor's office for the remainder of the year. President Lewis wants to ensure the student body that funding will be available for student initiatives and events for the fall semester.
As Student Senate works to avoid a budget crisis, UI7's Andrew Muser shares how students can avoid being the victim to campus thefts during winter break.
It's cold, you're tired, it's winter break. You just want to go home and relax. But if you're an apartment or house leaser, you may want to take a few steps to secure your belongings.
I guess I kind of like make sure I hide, like I take my laptop, things like that with me. Like I don't want that just laying around.
Schaefer lives with 8 other guys and understands the importance of locking up during school breaks. And UIUC Sergeant Barbara Robbins agrees break crime is no joking matter.
But during break, we definitely have more home and apartment building burglaries because there is nobody around. And so that makes a difference when we don't have a lot of foot traffic, then it's easy to walk into an apartment building, you know, and check the doors.
Say you want to prevent yourself from being the next victim of a burglary. What should you do?
We try to recommend that students do, you know, take your electronics, take your valuables home with you during break, you know, TV, computers, cameras, phones, you know, Wii's, PlayStations, because that's what people go for.
But for Schaefer, sometimes you have to trust the community, as you cannot protect everything.
Yeah. TV on the porch, not so much. We can't really safeguard against that.
So you guys just leave that out there?
Yeah, pretty much. But the other TVs, we just kind of keep that.
Here's to hoping that TV stays on the porch. In Champaign, I'm Andrew Muser, UI7 Newsbreak.
Turning to tech news, the Social Fuse event was hosted at the Business Instructional Facility to bring in students across campus. While attendees shared new startup ideas with one another, one innovator shared her initiative that's helping kids with disabilities. Around 15 to 20 people were selected to pitch their startup ideas into the business world. Alif Leila Tisha was one of those selected and had a chance to share the new idea of a new virtual reality game to help children with physical disabilities.
The catch of the game and what makes it unique is that it mimics physical therapy protocols. So ideally, in an ideal world, children with disabilities would enjoy physical therapy, and you know, playing a game would like encourage them to move more, and that's how the whole idea started.
Tisha hopes to find people to join her team that will share her same passions.
And while some Illinois students are changing kids' lives, see how one Illinois clinic is improving the lives of some furry friends. The Critter Cam is the U of I's Wildlife Medical Clinic's new innovation to help the public take a closer look at the recovering animals. One of the clinic's coordinators, Gabriela Escalante, points out how beneficial this camera is to both the public and the clinic.
So the Critter Cam's a camera that was actually donated to us. Our first thought was actually we're using it as a hands-off way to evaluate our patients that we can't really get a good access to. And then we had the idea to just put it online and allow the public to see what kind of cool animals we get to work with. So it's a really cool way to get the students engaged in a different way, and it gets the public engaged into what we do.
And along with the Critter Cam and the volunteers' expertise on wild animals, the clinic will continue to do its best to return these animals back to good health.
When we get back, learn about some community members who are giving back to soldiers overseas to brighten their holiday season.
Plus, see how one well-known Champaign family opens their doors to share the holiday spirit.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Members of the Air Force ROTC held their annual dining out event. Cadets were honored to be joined by one special guest in particular. Captain Jerry Yellen, a World War II veteran, spoke at the annual dining out event. Yellen says that it was such an honor for him to speak to the younger generation about his time overseas.
Because I think that it's important for me as a veteran with 16 million other people to tell the cadets of today how important it is for them to carry on the traditions that we did in World War II.
Yellen flew the final combat mission of World War II on August 14, 1945, the day the war ended. On that day, his wingman was the last man killed in the war.
Well, as the Air Force ROTC honored one veteran, local families paid tribute to their war heroes by spreading holiday cheer to the men and women overseas. The holiday spirit has Champaign-Urbana community members giving back to those who are giving up so much for their country. About 60 members of all ages came to help Operation Warrior Watch assemble care packages for deployed soldiers over the weekend. The packages included everything from Christmas cookies and snacks to clothes to handwritten letters from local students. Volunteers moved down an assembly line to handpick which items would go to which soldiers. One volunteer was Logan Laritzen, whose dad served for the Marine Corps in Vietnam.
It's very prideful for us. I get a little verklempt just thinking about it because I know how much he's given back and how much he's sacrificed himself, so it's been really nice and makes your heart warm.
The packages were shipped out Monday and should arrive just in time for the holidays.
Still keeping with the holiday spirit, Curtis Orchard continued their holiday traditions, opening their doors to the public. UI7's Mike O'Neill shares how the Curtis clan brought families closer together.
It's the first weekend of December, which means one thing for the Curtis Apple Orchard: breakfast with Santa. Families in the area get together during the first weekend of December to decorate cookies, take pictures with Santa, and kickstart the holiday season. The Orchard is the perfect place to host the event because the meaning of family is a high priority for the Curtises. Frequent attendee Audra Thomas has deep roots and fond memories of her times at the Orchard.
I've been coming out here to play since 1977, since I was about 7 or 8 years old. But being here just makes me think of family, makes me think of how many years we've had together, and just how it's all about growing up together and staying close.
Thomas considers the Curtises to be part of her own family, along with the other long lineage families that she grew up with in the area. Senior business manager Aaron Curtis Graham is part of the third generation of Curtises running the Orchard, and he takes pride in his family's hard work throughout the holidays.
My mom wanted to see the cafe area utilized in a really great way, and she just has a real heart for kids as well. She loves to find ways to make them smile, and it's a great all-in-one time. It's not just for the kids.
The Curtises have added more meals and sessions, so they are now able to accommodate over 700 people over the weekend.
Santa's breakfast brings out hundreds of families eager to get into the Christmas spirit. And although it's only the beginning of the holiday season, it's the ending of a very busy year at the Orchard.
This is kind of the last big hurrah as far as events go. It's a way to sort of put a bow, put a stamp on the season and say, hey, come out one last time.
It is without doubt that breakfast with Santa has become a staple for many families in the area. The Curtises close their doors for winter on December 20th. In Champaign, I'm Mike O'Neill, UI7 Newsbreak.
Well, while the Curtis family brought joy to local families, one Illinois a cappella group hoped to bring that same happiness through some of your favorite holiday songs. No Comment a cappella, also known as NOCO, hosted their first annual semester winter show called Snowco. It featured an all-female a cappella group, Girls Next Door. The show consisted of many different pop, rock, and holiday songs with some fun audience participation in between. No Comment is a co-ed a cappella group from the University of Illinois. The group consists of 14 undergraduate members. They host a show every fall and spring semester. President of NOCO, Mark Scher, hoped their winter show spread a little bit of joy to everyone.
We just really hope that we can bring some holiday cheer to everybody. We've never done a holiday show before in December, so it's kind of something new for us. So we have a lot of pop music, but we're throwing in some Christmas stuff in the middle there just to bring about a little cheer.
From a cappella shows to light shows, check out one family whose rivalry brightened the holiday season for many. 19 miles away from Champaign, Monticello native Brian McIntosh and his family prepare for the holiday season. Originating from a sibling rivalry on who could decorate their house using the most lights, the McIntosh Family Light Show was born. Using over 5 miles worth of extension cable and over hundreds of thousands of lights, Brian attracts viewers from all over central Illinois. Him and his family also provide a donation box outside their front door to donate to both the Alzheimer and Cancer Societies, 2 ailments that have directly impacted his family. The McIntosh Show will run up until the new year. When we get back, we will take a closer look at the weather for this week.
Stay tuned for more of this edition of UI7 Newsbreak.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Well, with winter just around the corner, drivers need to start being aware of winter road conditions. Find out how you can prepare your car before you hit the streets. As temperatures drop, it's time to get your vehicles in shape for the winter weather. Drivers can prepare their car by checking off this to-do list before hitting the roads. First, check the car's battery to ensure it won't die during the frigid winter months. Next, make sure there is good tread on your tires and that the air pressure is filled. Winter months bring colder temperatures, which lower the tire's pressure. Check the heater and defroster to make sure each is operating properly and is melting ice off your windows to help with visibility. Another tip is making sure the car has antifreeze and is good to negative 34 degrees or so. These are just a few items to check off your list, and for more information on preparing your car for the winter, you can head to your nearest mechanic. So, Nico, do you prepare your car like that? 'Cause that's obviously great advice.
I mean, my car is always running poorly, so just in the winter it's just more excessive, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But how about you? Do you prepare your car?
I don't. I just wait for something to be broken, and then I fix it.
Yeah, we're college students.
That's probably
so.
a bad idea. Well, speaking of frigid temperatures, we are going to head over to Lauren Scafidi with the weather.
Thanks, guys. Yes, make sure you keep all of that winter car advice in mind, especially these next couple days, because we are about to see the coldest temperatures we've seen yet. But for now, let's take a look at your local forecast. So we see some pretty consistent temperatures all within just a couple degrees of one another. We have 27 up here in Peoria, 30 down here in Springfield, 29 in Decatur, and 29 here at home in Champaign-Urbana. Moving on to our Midwest temperatures, we see a little bit more variation. We have 18 over here in Des Moines, 30 in Kansas City, 32 in St. Louis, and 30 up here in Ann Arbor. Moving on to our national temperatures, we see temps all across the board. We have 30 up here in Seattle, 64 down here in Los Angeles, 22 in Minneapolis, 40 in Boston, in Miami down there, still hanging on to summer with 80 degrees. So jealous of all of them wearing their shorts and their t-shirts. But let's take it back and bring it back to Champaign. Look at tonight. We're looking at 36 degrees tonight, but it's actually going to feel like 24 degrees. So if you're heading outside, make sure you bundle up. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to see 26 degrees, but those west-northwest winds at 15 miles an hour are actually going to make it feel like 11. So it's going to be a cold one out there tomorrow. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. We have tomorrow, 26 degrees with a low of 18. Friday, a high of 27 and a low of 16. Saturday, a high of 34, getting a little bit warmer, and a low of 28. But Saturday night, you're going to want to prep for Sunday. Get that car scraper out because Sunday we're seeing that 4-letter word. We're getting snow on Sunday. High of 36, though, and a low of 17. Monday, a high of 33 and a low of 23.
Thank you very much, Lauren.
Joining us now is Hunter Warning with your UI7 Sports Update.
Thanks, Nico. With one quarterback departing, the Illinois football team is ready to welcome in a new transfer at the position. Also, find out which members of Illini hockey will be heading overseas to represent the USA.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Illinois Athletic Director
Thanks,
Josh
Hunter.
Wilson announced
Electronic
that
music has grown in
across
pop.
the country and track and field teams will be combined under one coaching staff. We'll take a look at how the coaching staff will look moving forward. Previously, there
And
were
over to
4
Hunter
different
right
head
now in
coaches per
sports.
sport with some overlap between the longer distance track competitions. However, after the completion of the 2017 outdoor track and field season, Mike Turk will be the head coach of the unified program. He will retain Adrian Wheatley, Randy Gillian, and Jake Stewart on his staff, with 2 vacancies left to be filled over the summer. Illinois joins 10 other Big Ten schools with unified programs. The Illini hockey team is being recognized for the talent on the ice. UI's Walker Post has more on a player and coach duo who will be taking their skills to a world competition.
Illini's hockey team has started their season strong with 10 wins and 5 losses. Now, 3 players and the head coach will have an opportunity to compete at the World University Games, which is the biggest global winter competition for student athletes in the world. This year's games will take place in Kazakhstan. Senior and starting goalie Joe Olin has a chance to make this his second time attending the World University Games.
You know, I've never done anything like that. Never been outside the country to play hockey. Never played with that kind of speed, that kind of pace of play. So it was definitely a shocking experience.
Olin is among 3 goalies who've been chosen to potentially represent the United States. However, he'll have to prove himself once again in Boston, as only 2 of the goalies will make the cut.
Try not to do too much different. Can't treat it that much differently, otherwise you're going to get in your own head about it.
Head coach Nick Fabrini has worked with Olin since he was a freshman. He will be attending the University Games in the winter and is a former Illini hockey player himself.
Any opportunity to represent your country on any sort of stage, I think, is a really special opportunity. And when you add in, it's a sport that I love and the university that I played for that I get to go represent, you know, it makes it that much more special.
Fabrini won 2 national championships as a player for Illinois and was nominated for American Collegiate Hockey Association's Coach of the Year in 2013. Although Fabrini and his players are thinking about the World University Games, they still have a regular season to play. After what the coach calls a physically and mentally draining series against Ohio last weekend, this week they're focusing on getting healthy. Tonight, they face off against the Northern Illinois Huskies. The Illini have not played at home for several weeks, but that did not stop them from punishing NIU in a 9-4 blowout. They will play the Chicago Cougars next week and hope to continue to improve their Division I ranking for a shot to compete in the national championship in March. In Champaign, I'm Walker Post, UI7 Newsbreak.
The Illini wrestling team is starting up their season, and one wrestler in particular is determined to keep his 2-time NCAA title. Isaiah Martinez has back-to-back NCAA championship titles along with 2 Big Ten championship titles. In 2015, he was the first undefeated freshman to win the NCAA since 1999 and the 3rd Illini to win back-to-back titles in 2016. This season, Martinez is looking to become the first Illini to win 3 NCAA titles and to be the first to win the NCAA title in multiple weight classes. Starting out undefeated earlier this season, Martinez and the rest of the Illini wrestlers will compete at Southern Illinois Edwardsville on December 7th. Though the regular season may be over for the Fighting Illini football team, quarterback Wes Lunt still has 1 more game to play. Lunt will try to improve his NFL draft stock by participating in the East-West Shrine Game, Lunt amassed 5,900 passing yards and 36 touchdowns during his 3-year career in Champaign. Several other Illini have participated in the game over the years, including Geronimo Allison, D'Angelo Bentley, and Josh Ferguson. Over 70 players who played in the game last year made final NFL rosters. The game will be played on January 21st at 3 p.m. in St. Petersburg, Florida, and will be broadcasted on NFL Network. With Wes Lunt leaving, the Illinois football staff has been looking for a replacement for the graduating quarterback. The new transfer, Dwayne Lawson, will compete for that position. The former Virginia Tech and Hutchinson Community College quarterback announced he was joining the Illini via Twitter on Monday night, saying, "Proud to say I'm going to be marching out with these boys next fall to Memorial Stadium," with a picture of the team and head coach Lovie Smith. Lawson was highly recruited out of high school as a 4-star dual-threat quarterback. He will compete with the returning quarterbacks Chase Crouch and Jeff George Jr., who both saw significant time with the Illini while Lunt was sidelined by injury. Lawson has 2 years of eligibility remaining and is eligible to play immediately. Lastly, the Chicago White Sox made a big splash yesterday by trading away their all-star pitcher Chris Sale. This trade will make a big difference for Chicago as they begin a rebuilding process. The 5-time All-Star is headed to Boston in a trade that will send 4 prospects to Chicago, including Yohan Moncada and Michael Kopech, 2 of the most highly rated prospects in baseball. In Boston, Sale joins an already stellar pitching staff that includes this year's AL Cy Young winner Rick Porcello and former winner David Price. Last season, Sale posted a 3.34 ERA and a 17-10 record. And that's it for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Hunter. Electronic music has grown in popularity within the Champaign-Urbana community. UI7's Gene Kang tells us why more and more people decide to become DJs in this edition of See You Neighbor.
Graduate student Emily Smith has been DJing for the past year and has found success from it. Smith has already played at local venues and bars such as the Canopy Club on Goodwin and Radio Maria in downtown Champaign. Smith says DJing live fuels her passion for music.
Music sounds great when it's really loud, and so the only place you can do that is when you blast it at a club. So if I can get a spot for like 45 minutes to an hour, that just means, hey, I've got this awesome sound system to play like my favorite music on.
President of Electronic Music Club Travis Welch says DJing is becoming increasingly popular with the younger tech-savvy generation.
Every teenager is picking up a laptop, torrenting some production software, and is making music or like DJing.
DJs can mix and layer music, change audio levels, and add beats and instrumentals, all with a mixing board like this. Michael Cunningham is also a DJ and a good friend of Smith. He says Smith is a unique and talented DJ.
The music, that she chooses and the music she tries to make is very distinguishable. So it's like, I think that's a good trait to have.
Smith says when she's on stage DJing, it's just her and her music, while forgetting everything around her.
I sometimes forget that there are people out there. I forget to look up.
Smith has recently been contacted by a record label in Amsterdam for a copy of her music. While entering the music industry could be a possibility, she says being a student comes first. In Urbana, Gene King, UI7 Newsbreak.
Well, that's it for this UI7 Newsbreak.
For more of our top stories, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UI7 Newsbreak.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Another Christmas holiday. It's a joyous thing that the angels sing, 'cause we're together. We gotta sing, can't let slip away. Though outside it's rain, it's sleet, when you and I meet, I don't care about the weather. Snow, let it snow. Outside is cold, but the fire's blazing. So baby,